Chapter 36. Strange Gaze. In the distant rear, the sounds of fierce fighting and roaring persisted, with flashes of light indicating that the three from Qingyun Sect were locked in a fierce battle with other demons lurking in the darkness. However, where Zhang Xiaofan stood, an eerie silence suddenly descended. Zhang Xiaofan stared absent-mindedly, but the owner of the yellow flying sword and the gray canine teeth had witnessed the bizarre scene just now with their own eyes. Shocked beyond measure, they didn't know what to do for a moment. Wild dog, am I seeing things right? Did Brother Zhang, he, sucked dry by someone instead of sucking blood? Another rough voice sounded from the darkness. Damn it, Qingyun Sect actually has someone who practices this blood-sucking technique. Is this guy one of our disciples from the demon cult? The one who spoke first clicked his tongue, but after a while, he couldn't find the words. Annoyed, he said, "No, this guy is suspicious. We must interrogate him thoroughly." Two balls of light shone in front of Zhang Xiaofan, gradually revealing two figures. Zhang Xiaofan snapped back to reality. Startled, he quickly dispelled his distractions and focused on his opponents. In the light, the yellow flying sword and the gray canine teeth flew back into the hands of the two men. The one on the left caught the flying sword, a tall and skinny man with a hawk-like nose and small eyes, flashing with a fierce light. The other person beside him was even more peculiar. Zhang Xiaofan was shocked at first sight. Although he was tall, his appearance was extremely strange. His eyelids drooped, his nose protruded, his ears pointed upwards, his lips were crimson, and his tongue seemed quite long, occasionally protruding from his mouth, giving him a resemblance to a dog. The gray canine teeth returned to his hand at this moment. Zhang Xiaofan immediately thought, could these be the teeth of some big dog? The man no great harm upon the practitioner's own body, turning them into something neither human nor ghost. While they were members of the demon cult, they still kept a respectful distance from this mysterious technique, but they knew a thing or two about it. As for the person lying dead on the ground, supposedly the only disciple of the blood-sucking technique, he had been inexplicably drained of blood. From what they knew, the skill far surpassed the likes of the deceased Zhang Laozhen, the rumored vampire. Even the legendary vampire might not have such profound skills. However, looking at the young man from Qingyun Sect before them, there was no trace of the sinister or associated with the disciples of the blood-sucking sect. The dog master gave Zhang Xiaofan a glance and asked, "Are you a disciple of the blood senior?" Zhang Xiaofan was puzzled. What blood senior? The dog master's mouth opened, his long tongue turning outside. Zhang Xiaofan couldn't help but think of the big yellow dog on Qingyun Mountain. Just as he was pondering, a sharp whistle came from behind in the cave. Swords flashed, and a figure in black flew out from the darkness, blood streaming down his face, struggling on the ground, seemingly beyond saving. Zhang Xiaofan suddenly realized that his fellow sect members were fighting for their lives. While he was here talking to these members of the demon cult, he was being foolish. He immediately leapt up to go help. The dog master and the tall man were alarmed when they saw Zhang Xiaofan move suddenly, thinking he was attacking them. They were on guard, but Zhang Xiaofan hadn't even moved far when he suddenly grimaced, dropped to his knees, and gasped for air, cold sweat breaking out on his forehead. It turned out that in his haste, Zhang Xiaofan had forgotten about the small red fork still stuck in his shoulder. With his movement, the pain struck him deeply again, and the blood, temporarily stopped, now flowed from the wound once more. Seeing this opportunity, the dog master and the tall man, how could they let it slip? They would rather kill by mistake than let go. Their eyes gleamed with ferocity as their flying sword and canine teeth lit up once again. But at that moment, a clear whistle suddenly came from behind, amidst the various colors in the darkness. A dazzling blue light burst forth, brilliant and radiant, overshadowing all other lights. Within the blue light, the Tianchao sword emerged proudly. In the sky behind it, Lu Zweki stood, her figure graceful, standing in midair, her clothes fluttering in the wind. In the astonishment of the dog master and the tall man, the Tianchao sword's blue light surged, transforming into a huge blue light sword, slashing towards the darkness. Several colorful lights flew up to resist, but upon contact with the immense and pure blue light, they were all obliterated. Strange cries resounded as 5 or 6 figures jumped out from the shadows. With a loud bang, the blue light sword struck the stone wall, sending rubble flying, displaying its formidable power. The people who jumped out were almost all defeated. At the same time, the white light of Cheheo flew out from the side, turning several demon cult members into ice. Following closely was Zhang Xiaofan's sword, smashing them to pieces one by one. The tall man and the dog master looked at each other. At the same time, they gave up on Zhang Xiaofan and rushed forward. Their yellow flying sword and gray canine teeth met the attacks of Cheheo and Zhang Xiaofan. Their skills seemed to be superior among the demon cult members. They immediately managed to block the attacks from Cheheo and the others. However, both of them felt bitter in their hearts. They had witnessed last night's scene where Cheheo and the others were attacked by bats. They had set up an ambush in the depths of this ancient cave, intending to break through the seemingly indestructible 6 Harmonies mirror barrier and then defeat the 4 Qingyun disciples. The plan had indeed been executed as planned, but they didn't expect the Qingyun disciples to have unexpectedly high cultivation levels, making them difficult to deal with. In this ambush, the demon cult originally intended for the dog master, the tall man, and the vampire Zhang Luo to lead. They had seen that Zhang Xiaofan seemed to be the weakest among the 4, so they had agreed to attack him together, intending to quickly deal with Zhang Xiaofan before dealing with the other 3 separately. However, things took a strange turn. Although Zhang Xiaofan was injured, the vampire Zhang Luo was inexplicably drained of blood and died.